we forgot to turn off the fan. Yes, you did it at the same time I did. Thank God Josh has never been here, or he would have taken those things and ran for the hills. Welcome back to Us Against Everything. It is me and
Landon.
Still alive, still human,
Barely.
as far as we know.
As far as you know.
By the way, I did want to mention, guys, that the Oakville Blobs, we recorded that on my birthday. So, rock star right here. Anyways, today it's not just us against everything. It is us against eternity. Because apparently we're up against things that literally refuse to die.
I don't really think it's refuse. I think it is cursed not to die.
I mean, you're not wrong. That is very true, but we'll get into those details a little later. So obviously we did have to show up. And yes, we are talking about vampires. And not just the hot, mysterious, I only text you at night type. I'm talking about real life vampires, which honestly, Landon says that the sunlight just isn't his thing. And he often says that. So if he does say that one more time, I'm bringing garlic to the bed.
It just isn't appealing.
Yeah, but
it burns. It's too hot. It burns my eyes.
I feel like we live in a gothic castle.
Which is my dream.
We have no sunlight in this house.
You said that I can have whatever I want.
I mean, yeah, okay. You can have whatever you want. But we are in utter darkness. And it's crazy, actually, because now I prefer it that way.
Exactly.
So
it's
you made me into a monster.
No. I made you into my queen.
That's true. I swear Landon is a vampire, though. Like, I know we're talking about the sun, but he is, like, allergic to the sun, literally. He lives to live inside of a dungeon. If they made, like, king-size coffins, I'm pretty sure he'd be sleeping in one if I could sleep next to him.
Now you've got an idea for me.
Oh, you're going to
we move and buy a house.
You're going to make a coffin bed?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God. We totally need to. We have to get a coffin-shaped mattress.
Yes.
We also have a story from one of our fans that they sent me way back when. And we're finally going to be talking about it. So just keep in mind, it is a creepy vampire story. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you know this yet, but if you guys have any stories, and I'm talking about relationship stories, ghost stories, entities, vampires, you name it, send it to usagainsteverythingfans@gmail.com.
You may be lucky, and we may do an episode with your story in it.
So, yeah, send it in and give us a really cool anonymous name that you think that you would like to go by, because we're trying to keep it all on the DL. Shh. I also want to know where you guys started to really invest your time and energy into vampires. So let me know in the comments. For me specifically, first of all, if you have ever watched the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm not talking about the show, I'm talking about the OG. I'm talking about Luke Perry. Anyways, if you did not watch it, you need to find it somewhere and watch it, because that is one hell of an iconic movie. How funky is your chicken? How funky is your chicken? How loose is your goose? A goose is totally loose. I can go on and on. I can quite literally every line. Beyond that, though, I was hella convinced that I was the chosen one for years. I had a birthmark of the chosen one right where Buffy had hers. she, of course, removed hers because she's rich and it, lives in LA. But I feel like I needed to keep it because I was the chosen one. Ever since then, I was very curious about vampires, and even though the movie put vampires in a very bad light, the Buffy the Vampire show took away that light and made them more mysterious. And if you think about it, are they really the bad guys?
I don't think so.
So tell us, Almighty One, what is your vampire story? What turned you on to vampires?
Probably when I was a child and saw Count Dracula on the serial, I just felt drawn to that.
Oh my God. We go
Even
way
in
back.
Sesame Street, loved the vampire there.
The Count.
Yep, the Count, loved Count. He was always my favorite. I would always like hit my sister in the face with a pillow because she'd be talking and he'd be coming on. I'd be like, "Shut up! The king is on."
Aw. You know what? Mine was Oscar the Grouch.
I liked him too. Also, then obviously as I got older, just all the vampires, but I really, really, really felt connected to the movies, The Underworld.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then I read tons of vampire books and all that stuff, and I'm like, these are my people.
Anne Rice also did like Interview with a Vampire.
Yep, loved that book. Read that in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I read it in middle school, but we actually had to read it for high school.
I've actually never even watched the movie before.
Wow, jeez.
We got to get on that one day.
Yes, you need to watch and read both.
Vampires didn't come from one single story. They evolved from centuries of folklore, mainly in Eastern Europe, which makes sense because from what I know, they love Europe. They're very drawn to Paris, the UK, and anything French, really. Romania, Siberia, Bulgaria. There's a lot of...
It's because it's all rich in culture and old.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of that culture.
Well, yeah, because vampires are usually like between 300 and 600 years old, so they lived back in those days.
Right. Well, it really shaped from basically suggesting people were dying, but then they were coming back to life. Even drinking blood. Ugh. These beliefs were tied to fear of death, disease, and the unknown, especially during time when people didn't really understand things like decomposition. Back in the day when we didn't have doctors.
Right, or like any sort of medical science in any capacity.
If someone suddenly died of a sickness spread through a village, people would often blame a vampire. When graves were opened, normal post-death changes like bloating or blood around the mouth looking terrifying, to them it seemed like the person may have been feeding. So from there, the legend spread across Europe and evolved. And by the 1700s, vampire panics were quite literally happening. And eventually, writers turned these fears into stories. And of course, the most famous version we recognize today is Dracula. Pale, immortal, blood drinking, and seductive. So originally, vampires weren't all glamorous.
And really, all of that was just the hierarchy not wanting to admit there was disease or sickness or anything. They just blame it on something else. And we still see those patterns to this day.
God, we're so stupid.
Nobody ever wants to learn. Nobody literally ever wants to learn. There's so much literature out there that proves and shows that we always are quick to blame somebody else instead of what's currently actually in our faces all the time. It's really brainwashing.
You know what I learned today? That soda cures cancer.
Yeah, okay.
From the President of the United States of America. Someone who could confidently get up there and be like, so listen, I got a can of Coke. You want to stop radiation today? Here you go. I'll give it to you for free. But that'll cost you. You need to vote for me. Anyway, speaking of the OG vampires, a lot of people actually give off vampire energy. You know that? Now, okay, before we start accusing celebrities or your ex, we have to talk about where they even came from. So basically, when the diseases were starting, aka vampirism, random people just dying with no explanation, they usually blamed the first person that died as the OG vampire. They would literally dig up graves to check the bodies because decomposition fooled everyone. If the body didn't decay fast enough, sus. If there was no blood, even worse. That meant the person is coming back at night to get you. And plagues? Oh, God. The plagues. This belief exploded. Illnesses would spread through families, one after another, and it felt targeted, like someone unseen was chosen or choosing them. So the idea of a vampire made sense to them.
These people are so crazy. Just imagine, like, thinking that.
Yeah, it's something to hold on to. It's like the modern day Gossip Girl.
I don't know. I feel like I'm too smart, and I would be the person, like, in the town, like, in my dungeon, trying to
But
figure
it's
out.
impossible! It is impossible!
You got it all wrong.
I can totally see you, though, going, you're right, in your little basement with your little goggles and being like, no, sir, this is not the way. And then they'll be like, witchcraft! You're a vampire!
Yep, exactly. That burned me at the stake. And then when I didn't die from being burned, then they would scream even louder.
Right. Well, that's why the burials got intense. People were buried face down, so they dig the wrong way. Rocks were placed on bodies to pin them down.
What about those graves where they used to put the cages above them so that they couldn't get out?
Oh my God. That's creepy. I wouldn't be surprised.
And there's like a little bell attached to it, so like if they did try to get out, the bell would shake so they would know, oh, we got to go try to kill him.
That is creepy. Some were even burned because fire was believed to be the only way to truly end it all for the vampires. In all those rules we hear about, garlic was not random. It was used to fight illness. Too bad soda wasn't invented at that point.
You know, I still believe to this day, like, that garlic will help keep your immune system healthy.
Oh, hell yeah, it does. Garlic will do something. Soda will not. Running water symbolized purification and holy water as well. Now, mirrors have had a bad rep for a long time. Were believed to reflect the soul. So if there was no reflection, that means that you have no soul. Bells in churches were thought to weaken anything not human. Even animals reacting strangely was taken seriously. Like they could sense something people couldn't. Angel would literally get every single person in trouble.
Literally, she would suss out all them vampires with the amount that she investigates.
And of course, early vampires weren't attractive. Well, duh. They were corpses that people thought that they weren't. I wouldn't be my best looking day that day either. They were described as bloated, red-faced, decaying. That romantic version came later. Now let's fast forward to today. We don't talk about vampires the same way, clearly. We've evolved. But the idea never really went away. Modern vampires aren't drinking blood, they're draining energy. They mirror you so you trust them. They pull you in, disappear, and then come back stronger. They isolate you. They leave you questioning yourself.
Everybody nowadays, if they found a vampire, they'd want to, like, be a vampire. They would do something to encourage them to get bit to be a vampire themselves.
Everyone who I know, which is nobody, but anyone who I've felt vampire related, they do look rather young for a long time. Now, they don't just get an extra few years. We're talking significantly longer.
Especially if they take care of themselves the right way.
Right. They don't age the same. They don't break down the same, which also explains why the internet side-eyes certain people, including me, actually. Somebody on my live was like, you're not 43. You're a vampire. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Right? That's a compliment.
I know, like as if that really affects me. And apparently they can hear everything.
Supersonic hearing like bats.
I mean, I personally don't need that kind of stress in my life. I'd prefer not that part.
I hear everything.
Like, imagine hearing somebody chewing from across the room. Absolutely not.
I do.
Oh my God, no. Some people also feel like they heal faster. I believe that too. The idea is that they need something from others, humans, to maintain themselves, which means one cannot live without the other. Alrighty, now let's talk about the internet's favorite hobby, accusing celebrities of being vampires. Because for some reason, there are certain people on the internet that look pretty good. First up, Keanu Reeves.
Man hasn't aged a day.
Explain to me how the man has literally looked the same in every decade.
Literally hasn't aged a single second.
I am convinced that by the time I am 80 years old, he will not be in a wheelchair, but doing more action films like John Wick 48.
No joke.
He is one of the only celebrities that I believe to actually have vampire blood in his system.
Wouldn't doubt it.
You have to be, so here's how it works. You can't be a shit person. So, not dump, you're out. Melania, gone. You know?
I mean, she's a robot, so.
Diddy, bye. Right? Oh yeah, fembot. You've got to be a really good person. And there's some good people in Hollywood. There are. It's rare.
Like
but
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu is a good one.
Like, do you know that anytime he is on set with movies with live animals, he makes it his mission to spend time with that animal. Like if it's a dog, a horse, whatever, he will go take the horse out. He will take the dog for a walk. He will feed the dog, feed the horses. Like he spends time with them.
I love that. That sounds like Keanu. So for me, it makes sense. And you're born with this blood or you obtained this blood. So something tells me that he was infused with it. That's what I believe.
They should have infused Robin Williams too.
Robin should have been saved. Why? If we lived in a world of Robin, we wouldn't live in a world of not dump. I don't disagree.
Facts.
But anyways, I believe that Keanu is, like I said, one of the only one, and I feel like with blood in his system, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to live on forever, but it does mean he has quite a few perks. So if Keanu ever just randomly disappears, I would believe that he was taken to another realm. There's Jared Leto. Same face, same vibe, no explanation. He just looks the same. Same skin, same facial structure, same energy. I don't believe Jared Leto is a vampire, sorry to say. How about Madonna? What do we think there?
I think it's a possibility.
Yeah. I feel like Madonna has a large sum of the Jesus juice.
That also makes sense. Well, Madonna actually has aged since, like, looking at her from being younger to now, she has aged, but maybe not as much as she would if she wasn't having the Jesus juice.
Right. Then there's Beyonce. A lot of people think that she is a vampire. Everyone talks about, like, Miss Queen Bee as so many different things. Like, she's not real. She's a clone. There's a bot version of her. She's got a lot. The only title I think Beyonce has is, well, wife to the Illuminati world leader. If she was, in fact, a vampire, she would have brought out a much better country album.
She would bring out better albums in general.
God, and she would whoop his ass. Like, she would kick that Jay-Z's ass. And she hasn't done that yet. She is under his thumb. Vampires would not be under anyone's thumb.
Nope, they are the rulers.
Apparently, she never slips, ever.
That doesn't mean you're a vampire.
Right, I know, I agree. People are just waiting for her to fall.
She just got good balance.
Then there's Pharrell Williams, who has looked 25 for about 30 years. I don't get that vibe from him either. I mean, he just has really great genes. like me.
Good for him.
Paul Rudd. People think that he looks better than he did in the 90s. And I don't disagree. I would agree with him.
Yeah,
I would agree about him.
I think his aging made him look better.
Yeah. I think he is very good looking. I would not be surprised if there is some vampire blood running through Paul's veins. Tom Cruise. He's aged, but he also has the Jesus juice.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he has a hell of a lot of it. But we won't talk about Tommy Boy today.
You know who else?
Ooh, who?
Jennifer Aniston. She has not aged at all. She
beautiful.
Still looks so beautiful. She still looks so great. Even watching Friends back, I'm like, wow, she still looks the same.
Being her age and looking as good as she does, and like she is afraid to age because of everyone's reaction.
And she ain't even aging.
I know. Speaking of, the woman that stole her husband, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Angelina. She is what I would call poison ivy. She is,
yes.
She will draw you in. She is awesome as a person, I think so. But as a girlfriend, a lover, she's a little chaotic, crazy in fact. But I think she's all right. She's cool. She's a good mom. Johnny Depp gets mentioned quite a bit. Okay, I can see that for Johnny.
Yeah, for sure. He also really hasn't aged either. Not vastly.
No, and there's just something about Johnny Depp. Like,
he's also a good person.
Yeah, I feel like he is too. You know what's funny? You know what vision I often get about him? So him and Amber Heard, they were both like lawyer to lawyer. We got to make this trial look real good. You talk about the craziest shit. I'll fucking talk about crazy shit. Let's get some mad money here.
Hell yeah, it was all about the money for both of them.
Smart.
They both were like, oh, this divorce is going to cost us so much money. Let's make some money.
Right. She was the most hated person. And look at her life now. She gets...
I know she doesn't even live in this country anymore.
Exactly. And she had kids and she's happy. She's no longer shitting on the bed.
I think that was made up.
You know what? I think so too. I think that there was
they wanted to make it so fucking outrageous.
There was a bee. I still can't get over that part. And then a lot of people think that Elon Musk is a vampire. No. Elon is not cool enough to be a vampire.
He's not cool enough. He's not nice enough. He's not good enough. He is evil.
Right. I would say more like demonic energy, not vampire energy. But Elon, he does not look young. He just gets like facelifts a lot. He also has Jesus juice.
He had a lot of surgeries. Like, there is pictures of him before when he first started. He had no hair, buck teeth. Like, he was ugly as sin, no chin. He got gender affirming care done to himself in order to make himself feel better.
Oh, I get it. That's why he's so triggered by trans people, because he can't even look like his own gender, and he's triggered by that.
Exactly. He has to take testosterone. He has to get hair plugs. He had to get new teeth. He had to get his jaw cut open. Like, he literally had to make himself look like a man.
But I've always felt them in Europe. Older cities like deep history, places where stories actually started. One place that they are very drawn to is where Jack the Ripper killed his victims.
Whitechapel.
I also do believe, although this was a rumor that had started OG time with crazy corpse checkings, but what I do believe is that there was a man. There's always a man. And I see that he was drinking one day, and there was another man that just so happened to walk by, and he was performing some sort of, I don't know, voodoo, old school Latin type of spell. And he was like down on his luck, and so was this drunk man. And he was like, I need to do a sacrifice. And then he became like the world's first vampire. That man that was down on his luck, that got his blood sucked dry because the guy had to drink all of his blood, had children, and I believe his children witnessed what happened. And I believe that rumors started from that experience. Now, vampires are far and few between. they're not here often. They hate the sun. That is not because they're going to melt or anything, but they're just sensitive to it.
It's like an allergic reaction.
Right. They're weakened by the sun. Mm-hmm. They're good with water. In fact, holy water does not mess with them. Somebody messed that up. That's more like demonic energy. They have no interest in being anywhere where it's sunny, which is why Europe is also a good option for them, because it really isn't that sunny over there a lot. The nighttime is where they're very energized. And do they suck people's blood? Yes. But there's a lot of people that are willing to do that on their own.
That's what I said. Like, you do that today, many people would be throwing themselves at a vampire.
They do. They have like fake vampire clubs.
Yeah, vampires wouldn't even need to compel them to do anything.
No.
Or charm them in any way.
If they ever get found out again, the curse will be broken.
I also feel like they don't necessarily go out, suck people dry. I feel like they get like
a vial.
Like vial, like blood bags from places.
I don't disagree with you at all. It is very easy. It's not the way people think it is. So for me, I do believe that they exist. Landon does as well. Let's get into some questions here. Do we think that they have evolved over time? Now, here's a good question. Can someone become a vampire? Or is it that they have to be born or turned? So from what I gather, you do have to basically inject their blood into your veins. But when it comes to turning, it's very different. There is a whole process. It takes some time. No, you don't have to be in a grave somewhere, die, come back, nothing like that.
Basically, sick. You'll just get sick because your whole chemistry and everything will be changing inside your body. Your senses are going to start getting heightened. Smells will start bothering you.
Are there people out there that are vampires and they don't even realize it? Yeah, I think that there are a few people that have no idea. Because vampires can breed with humans, then it becomes like the half-breed kind of energy. And then it loses time, but that blood can run through your veins. You just might be fast, athletic, intelligent. Like you might have these components.
Yeah, geniuses. Yep.
Now, Landon, have you ever met someone who you instantly felt drained after being around them, like something was off?
Yes, quite a few times.
Care to elaborate?
Well, my ex-wife, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, every day.
Oh my gosh.
I would be so exhausted that I felt like I was in another dimension because I was like, is this real life? Why do I feel like I have nothing left in me?
Well, hear me out. But maybe she's a tall gray.
Could be that too.
I mean, her facial structure.
I would definitely agree.
Now, why do you think vampires feel more alive at night?
Because nighttime is way better.
Yeah, but do you
like
think
the
that
moon,
there's a reason
the stars? I feel like all of that plays a part in it. Just it being night, being mysterious, able to move around, able to get places quickly. The sun's not going to hurt them. They're not going to get sick from the sun. Dear Liz and Landon, okay, I have to tell you this because your last vampire episode on Freaked Out has been living rent-free in my head ever since I heard it. At first, I thought it was just being dramatic. You know, when you listen to something spooky and suddenly everything feels a little off.
Every time I watch a Scream movie.
That was me. But when things started happening that I can't really explain away anymore, there's this guy at my work, and I'm not going to say his name because honestly, I don't even like typing about him. From the very beginning, something fell off. He barely eats like ever. We've gone out as a group multiple times, and he just doesn't eat. Says he's not hungry, but it's constant. Drinks, though, always something dark, red, and yes, I know what it sounds like. We were all joking around after work, and someone made a comment about garlic fries. Everyone laughed except for him. He didn't even fake a laugh. He just got really quiet and changed the subject immediately.
What the hell?
I have never once seen him in direct sunlight. No capes, no fangs, at least out in the open. Every time I'm around him, I feel exhausted. Explain why he never shows up in the group photos properly. He's always slightly blurred or turned. Explain why I feel like I shouldn't get too close to him, like something in me is warning me without using words. I guess my question for both of you is this. If vampires aren't what we're told, then what am I actually dealing with? Please tell me I'm not losing it. Also, if I suddenly quit my job with no explanation, just know I choose life. Thanks. Sign SPC.
If you're feeling that off about somebody, there's got to be a reason.
Absolutely. I mean, all the signs point to vampire.
At the very least, he's got to be in some sort of vampire club, like posing as a vampire.
Right. Maybe he like did a lot of research on vampires and he's living a vampire life. Like Gypsy Rose's boyfriend, Nick. He believed that he was Victor, 98-year-old vampire. Like he believed truly that he was real, and maybe this guy feels that way too.
I would try to strike up a conversation about vampires to him and see his reaction. See how he handles it.
Yeah, you can like say something like, "Oh my god, I watched this movie about vampires."
Right.
Or I'm reading this book about vampires. It's so interesting. Like you could just like say something like that, or even talking to another coworker about it while he's in the room and see what he does.
Now, if he gets super excited about the conversation, that means he is one hell of a fan and is like in a club where he'd be drinking vampire blood with his friends. If he gets all, I don't want to talk about this,
or he just silently gets up and walks out of the room, red flag.
Sus. For sure, sus. So that is what I would recommend. And one other thing I want to mention about the garlic side of things. Garlic does nothing to hurt a vampire. That is fake as press-on nails.
I don't think it kills vampires in any capacity, but I think some vampires might experience an allergic reaction, kind of like eating peanuts.
I'm actually going to give credit where credit is due. I feel like Vervain from the Vampire Diaries is actually something that fucks with them real hard.
Wolf's Bane.
Yeah.
Messes with wolves.
Yes. There is a whole other realm, and yes, the vampires are basically not doing so well when it comes to the wolf side of things. They also have a lot of beef, but we'll talk about that another day. After all this, I'm not going to lie, I'm side-eyeing a few people a little differently. Now, if you've ever had a weird experience, you can always write into us usagainsteverythingfans@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. Next episode, we are going to be diving into an urban legend that takes a very dark turn. We're talking about Barbara Q. And if you know, you know.
BBQ.
We are absolutely obsessed with this podcast. Make sure to share, guys. We love hearing from you. Please let us know your ideas for upcoming episodes. We want to know what you guys want. And by the way, follow the show. Send this to someone who only texts you after midnight. And Landon and I already know you're going to say they're not a vampire, but I'm still watching them real close. And just a reminder, at the end of the day, it is always
us against everything.